Good morning, everyone. Appreciate everybody being on our August 25th, 2020 special call fiscal court meeting. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Madison County Fiscal Court will be video conferencing the fiscal court meetings live on the Madison County, Kentucky Facebook page and local Spectrum TV channel 377 in compliance with the Office of the Attorney General's Opinion 20-05. So good morning to everybody. I appreciate everybody being on here today. Clerk Barger, if you will, call roll. We'll call this meeting to order.
Master Combs.
Here.
Master Barger.
Here.
Master Tudor.
Here.
Master Botkin.
Present.
Judge Taylor.
Here. At this time, I'm going to invite our Master of the 3rd District, John Tudor, to lead us in a word of prayer. John?
Let us pray, please. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for this county in which we live. Thank you for the privileges we have and that we share. Thank you most of all, Lord, for your Son, Jesus Christ, who came and died on the cross, that we may have a promise of heaven someday with him. Please be with this county as we make decisions to move it forward. Please be with us as that these decisions be in your will, Lord. And Lord, please help us find a cure to this coronavirus, that we may move on with our normal lives in this day and time, Lord. Thank you for all that you've given us. Forgive us for our sins. We ask in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, John. Sheriff, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For all.
Thank you. Thanks, Sheriff. Magistrate, y'all have had a chance to look over our previous meetings minutes. It was our fiscal court meeting that was on August the 11th, 2020. I need a motion and a second to approve, please. Tom Botkin.
Motion to approve the minutes for August
11th.
11th. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Roger.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, Clerk Barger.
Master Combs. Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is our treasurer's report. We have our Madison County Treasurer, Glenna Smith. Oh, sorry, I almost said Baker. I apologize.
Okay.
Glenna Smith. Good morning, Glenna.
Good morning. I have your all's financial statement as of 7/31/2020 in your Dropbox. This is open record for the public. If anyone would like a copy, you can email me at glenna.smith@madisoncountyky.us. Our total fund balance in our checking accounts as of July 31st, 2020 is $5,642,153.65. Our general fund as of the end of July, our revenues are at 2.8%. Our expenditures are at 7.9%. Road department, our revenues are 8.4% and our expenditures are at 5.4%. Jail fund, our revenues are at 23% and our expenditures are at 5.1%. LGA, it's 0 and 0. CSEP, the revenues are at 0 for the month of July, and the expenditures are at 0.3%. 911, the revenues are 3.3%. Our expenditures are at 6.5%. And our health fund, our revenues are at 1.2%, and our expenditures are at 0 right now. That will change. Also, I've been working on the CARES Funding Act. I did just get our first request sent in along with the application and the resolution that you all passed in an earlier court meeting. The total for that was $1,084,000 that we're requesting in our first drawdown that runs from March 1st through June 30th, 2020. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions at this time? John Tudor?
Glenn, kind of specify what that care money is earmarked for. Is there certain, is it all for COVID-19 epidemic?
Yes, that's all you can get reimbursed for is anything that has to do with COVID. It goes for the sheriff's payroll, fire payroll, all of our expenses that we spent on PPE, the people that were off due to COVID, their payroll expenses, supplies, disinfectants, all that sort of thing.
So remember, it's a reimbursement.
Yes, we've already spent the money.
Right. So we're basically getting what we've requested for the cost that we've already experienced through this.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Glenn.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll move on. Thanks, Glenn. We'll see you back in just a few minutes. Next, our first order of business for today is a jail energy and efficiency recommendation. We have our jailer, Steve Tussey, on with us. Good morning, Steve. Hope you're doing well.
Morning, Judge. Thank you. Good morning to everybody else. This is just informational. It's really doesn't require any kind of decisions today from the court. But as you all know, we have some capital improvements that we need to do to the jail. And that's basically all of our mechanical systems, our HVAC, water, sewer, electric, kitchen appliances, roof. All of our infrastructure of the jail is in really poor condition. And we are budgeting money to improve those. But something I want to pursue is basically it's an energy audit of the jail. And instead of just replacing HVAC and electric and plumbing, I want to do it in an energy efficient manner. And there are companies out there that will actually review and audit the jail or any building for energy efficiency. Basically would replace all of our systems with a more energy efficient option, as in HVAC and plumbing and electrical. And there's usually, as I understand it, there's actually a return on investment. Maybe long-term, could be 10, 15 years, but if we can reduce our footprint on the environment, currently we're paying over $200,000 a year just in utility bills. If we could reduce that by 15 or 20%, then we would actually have a return on investment. So I'm going to put out an RFP just basically so I can gather information on this. And then I will present to the court actually what the findings of that are and what's their probability of doing an energy efficiency project for the jail.
Thank you, Steve. That's exciting.
Okay.
Court members, I think we've somewhat discussed this in years past a little bit about options and opportunities there. So I appreciate, Steve, you taking the lead on the jail. If there is an opportunity to save on utility costs where those savings can go towards improving our facility, then, that's a win. That's a win-win.
Yeah.
Members of the court, do you
Judge,
all have any questions? Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
There's also the possibility of these companies that will actually do the audit. There's a possibility of some grant money that's available for an energy and environmental projects like this. There's a possibility that we could get some of this paid for.
Okay. Tom?
Hey, Judge, don't we have $600,000 budgeted for upgrades at the jail?
We do. Yes, we do. Any other court members? Steve,
just to kind of answer.
Go ahead, Steve.
Just to answer Tom's question, yes, we do have a line item for $600,000, and I have local estimates for redoing many of our systems. But before I started expending those funds, I wanted to at least evaluate this energy efficiency and just weigh the difference.
Good. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Steve, something that I see in companies and places where I've been, something that is as simple as a motion sensor on the lights. You know, when there's nobody in the office, lights automatically turn on. It's amazing how much money something just as simple as that can save.
I know some jails that have done similar things. Actually, the jail down in Marion County did one just for water. They've saved 20% on their water bill. So there is a potential savings in all of their utilities.
Good. Thank you.
So Steve, this process would be, I'm assuming through an RFP. We would put out an RFP that would sort of include the scope of work on this energy project.
That's correct, Judge. And I have that almost ready. I'll probably go out with it later this week or next week.
Okay.
And that's specifically for the jail building.
I wonder if we could add maybe other county buildings to that same RFP, and while we're doing the jail, you know, have the other buildings evaluated too, because I know, I'll just say, like in our annex building, you know, we have no temperature controls at all, like on our thermostat. So whatever, you know, they're set at whether we're here in the office or not. Tom, your point about, you know, motion lights or what have you. I know we've been trying to go to a lot more energy efficient bulbs as we're, you know, the old bulbs are burning out. We're changing more with energy efficient bulbs. I know we've been trying to do that, but how would y'all feel about adding our other buildings to this RFP? I mean, it doesn't really cost us anything to put it in an RFP. And since Steve is, you know, sort of taking the lead on the jail, we maybe could piggyback off of that same RFP and look into our other buildings. Roger, hit your mute button, Roger.
I was going to say that's a good idea to go ahead and check on the other buildings, as long as I don't know if there's what kind of fee there is for them doing this evaluation, but we need to cover our side as much as the jail covering theirs.
Yeah, I think the way, I mean, when I first came into office, there were several of these different companies that set up meetings with us, just kind of explain what they did. And if my memory's correct, you know, you put out an RFP and you would choose basically a company, a consultant that would be approved by the court. And then they would come in and put the plan together and then present to the court, you know, how much it would cost, if I remember correct. So the court would have to act at a later date once there's obviously more information to be presented. I don't think there's any kind of upfront cost to actually for the RFP or anything. Is that correct,
There
Steve?
isn't, Judge.
Yep.
That's true. I've contacted and talked to, and I've had several of those companies in, and just to do some preliminary meetings with them. But there is no cost to us so far. And to simply add other buildings from a county, I don't think would be an issue. I can investigate that and give you some feedback on it.
Okay. Well, it's not something that really needs a vote, but I think it would be good if this pleasure of the court is good with it. We'll just move forward with the RFP and maybe add our buildings or all of our county facilities and see, you know, if there's money savings there, and we could get some upgrades and have return through the savings of our utilities. All right. Any other questions?
Okay. I'd be glad to add that, Judge, and I'll give you some feedback on it.
Thanks, Steve. Members of the court, any other questions?
No.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate your leadership. Good job.
Welcome.
Next, we have our first reading of ordinance 2021. It's our CARES budget amendment. Glenna, good morning again.
Good morning. When we were allocated this money, we were allocated a set amount from Department of Local Government. This is a federal funding, though, that goes through the Department for Local Government. Our amount is $3,165,853. So in order for us to ask for part of this money, the 184 that we're asking for now, we have to have a place in our budget to put it in. So this budget amendment is to put in a revenue line item and an expenditure, which we already had an expenditure line item. Now, it's going to look funny because it's actually going into our federal grant fund, which is an 07 fund, the same one that we use for CDBG. The state auditors asked that we use that fund, but once we get it in, we will transfer it over to the general fund. That's where we spend it out at. So just to let you know how that process works. The ordinance that we're doing today is a budget amendment to get it into our budget. It is ordinance number 2021, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the administration of the county budget, and whereas Madison County Fiscal Court has realized unbudgeted receipts, and whereas the county treasurer has reviewed the budget to ensure sound financial practices, now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of the County of Madison, Commonwealth of Kentucky, the CARES budget be amended by $3,165,853 into our federal grants fund. This order shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption.
Glenn, I would like for you to explain to the court too, similar to the discussion we had this morning about that. If we can't get all the way to the $3.1 million, that doesn't mean we're going to get $3.1 million. We'll only get what we qualify for, as close to that as possible, correct?
Yes, the CARES funding is set up on a reimbursement process, so we have to spend the money before we can send in receipts, cancel checks, all that stuff in order to get reimbursement money. So if we don't end up spending, if say we only end up spending $3 million, then we'll only get reimbursed $3 million. That's all we'll spend out. And that's what we'll get reimbursed for. Whatever's left would go back to the federal government.
Thank you. Do I have a motion and a second for ordinance 2021? John Tudor?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2021, the CARES budget amendment.
All right, do I have All right, everyone, we're back. Those that are watching us on cable, our cable channel, or on Facebook Live, sorry, we dropped the feed, so we've paused and sort of going to restart our meeting, so nobody is missing out on what we're discussing. Just to bring you up to speed, when it crashed, we were talking about our budget amendment for our CARES Act money, and our Master John Tudor made the motion to approve ordinance 2021. It is the first reading of our ordinance, and I believe Roger was the second on that motion, and we all did vote in favor to approve the first reading of ordinance 2021. So thank you for your patience, and we're sorry that happened. Next on the agenda is resolution 2088. It's the Madison County 2020 ad valorem rates. A resolution to adopt the Madison County 2020 ad valorem rates, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is legally required to adopt 2020 ad valorem rates in accordance with KRS 132.0225. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court desires to accept the compensating rate for real property, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court also desires to accept the tangible personal property inventory rates set based on the compensating rate, and whereas the compensating rate formula for real property will be set at 8 cents per $100, and whereas the compensating rate. All right, we're back online again. Sorry for those watching for the technical difficulties this morning. We're in the process right now of making a motion and a second on resolution 2088. It's our resolution to adopt Madison County 2020 ad valorem rates. Chris, do you know if it was playing while I read the resolution? Reread it. All right. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is legally required to adopt 2020 ad valorem rates in accordance with KRS 132.0225, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court desires to accept the compensating rate for real property, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court also desires to accept the tangible personal property and inventory rates set based on the compensating rate, and whereas the compensating rate formula for real property will be set at 8 cents per $100, and whereas the compensating rate formula for tangible personal property and inventory rates will be set at 9 cents per $100. And now therefore be it resolved, the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution, and the county judge executive is hereby authorized to execute same on behalf of the fiscal court. Do I have a motion and a second for resolution 2088? Tom?
Judge, motion to approve the resolution 2088 about the Madison County 2020 ad valorem rates.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Roger?
Second.
Okay. Do we have any discussion? I will let the court know that our rate is actually going down this year. And we've seen that. We've seen that in previous years. As our values of our assessments can continue to rise based off our PVA reassessing properties, that our rate, by taking the compensating rate, it continues to lower. Last year, we were at 8.3 cents. This year we'll be at 8 cents. Basically, the difference in that is about $3 on $100,000 of assessed value is the difference in that. Any questions? All right. Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Bodkin,
Yes.
Master Combs, Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you all. Next, next was going to be a resolution 2089. This is on our SP special purpose taxing districts for their 2020 ad valorem rates. After talking to our counselor, and thank you, Jenny, for keeping us in line. This does not need to be in a resolution based off the state law. They just have to present these to the fiscal court. And so we do have our directors, members of our taxing districts on with us today. So this will not be a resolution. They will just present their tax rates to the court. And first I have the health department, and we have our health department director, Nancy Crew, on with us. Good morning, Nancy. It's great to see you again.
Judge, long time no see.
That's right.
Maybe about 12 hours,
That's
15
right.
hours.
Yes, ma'am.
Always good to see you and the rest of the court members and everyone else who's here. For FY21, what the Board of Health has approved is the same rates we've had for the last, I believe, at least 12 years. I know all of the 10 years I've been here, they have remained unchanged. And that is 5 cents per $100 of the assessed valuation of all real property, 5 cents assessed 5 cents assessed valuation of all personal property, and 5 cents per $100 of the assessed valuation of all motor vehicles in Madison County as of January 2021. And the motor vehicle tax rate will be applicable to calendar years starting January 1st, 2021. Those are our rates for this coming year.
Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate you presenting to us today. It's great to see you and appreciate what you're doing. Members of the court, do y'all have any questions for Nancy at the health department? All right. Thank you, Nancy. Next, we have our Madison County Public Library District. Is Ruthie on? All right, I don't see Ruthie. Okay, I guess I'll read. I do have their request from Madison County Public Library, and their real property will be 57 cents per $100. Their tangible personal property will be, I'm sorry, 57 cents. No, back up. Sorry, it's 5.7 cents. Real property for the library will be 5.7 cents. Their tangible personal property will be 7 cents, and their inventory will be 7 cents. Is there any questions?
Judge, how's that compared to last year?
Larry, I think that it's lower. I can't really give you 100% firm answer, but I think that the library last year was 5.9 cents. John?
Judge, I'm looking at the chart here. It says in 2019 it was 5.8. 2018 it was 5.9. So
Okay.
it's lowered.
2/10.
Yeah,
It's lower a tenth.
a tenth each year there.
Okay, that
0.1%.
answers my question. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. All right. Next, we have, I think Lisa's on with us. Good morning, Lisa. It's great to see you from our Madison County Extension District to present their tax rate to the court.
Yes, sir. Our board voted to continue with last year's rates, and those were for real property 1.772 cents per hundred, for tangible personal property and inventory is 2.983 cents per hundred.
Thank you, Lisa. Any questions from our court members? Seeing none, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you being on today. And next we have our Madison County EMS taxing district, and we have our director, Carlos Cole. Good morning, Carlos.
Morning, Judge. Good morning, everyone. Have a little bit of good news as well. Our tax rate on real property went from 4.9 to 4.8 cents for 2020. Our other taxing rates for tangible property, motor vehicles, watercraft, all remained at 6 cents.
Thank you, Carlos. Any questions from members of the court? John Tudor.
Judge, I'd just like to make a comment here that the public may not be aware of, that all these taxing districts are set by the members of those taxing districts, and the fiscal court has no variance on adjusting those anyway. We have to accept them as they are reported to us.
That's correct. All right, any other comments? Thank you, Carlos. Thanks to our court members as well. Next is Resolution 2090, Windy Oaks Circle and Sunny Oaks Drive Road adoption. A resolution for Madison County. I'm not sure if Willie was planning on reading this, or is Willie here? There he is.
I can read it, Judge, if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead, Willie.
All right. Resolution 2090, a resolution for Madison County Fiscal Court to adopt roadways for county maintenance. Whereas Madison County Fiscal Court would like to adopt the following roadways for county maintenance, and whereas the roads are described as follows: Windy Oaks Circle, Shady Oak Subdivision Phase 2, 2,132 feet by 20 feet wide, and Sunny Oaks Drive, Shady Oak Subdivision Phase 2, 558 feet by 20 feet wide. And whereas the roads have been inspected by the Madison County Road Supervisor and is recommended for adoption. Now therefore it be resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive to execute same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Willie. Hey, John, hold on before we vote, because I do want to propose an amendment to this resolution, if y'all wouldn't mind. It got put up on Dropbox before I actually got to read it, and I read it yesterday, and I felt like it needed a little bit more information in it. And I know, John, you're aware of the change of that subdivision on the Sunny Oaks Drive. We actually are changing the name of a section of what was used to be Windy Oak Circle to Sunny Oaks Drive. And what I would like to do, if it's okay, is to propose an amendment to what has been read here today, and we can add this to this resolution. To add the plat number of the plat for this phase 2 of this section of the subdivision, and to also add a description in this resolution for the change of that section of street that we changed to Sunny Oaks Drive. So if you all, if it's the pleasure of the court, when we make this motion for resolution 2090, we'll make the motion to add my recommendations to this. We'll change the resolution and go ahead and get it filed after we approve it. So, John Tudor?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 2090 with the recommendation and amendment that you proposed of adding to the plat Sunny Oaks Drive into that subdivision as a new street.
Thank you. Roger?
I second that.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. This change actually worked out to the benefit of the residents out there. On that section that we changed the name of, there was only one lot that Mr. Kane actually owns. He lives on a corner of another street. So it was really good for the members of the subdivision out there, where they didn't have to change their addresses. The only person it would actually affect would be Mr. Kane, but it's on an empty lot. And so I wanted to make sure that this resolution had that description in it, so that when he goes to ever sell it, and somebody's doing a title search, that he could hand them this resolution, and then they would be able to research it better and know that the court actually changed the name of that section of roadway. It actually worked out good to kind of clean up something that kind of got missed years ago. So, John?
Judge, I just want to add to that you and myself and Supervisor Willis met with most of the residents on those streets out there and had a video conference a couple of weeks ago, and everybody was in agreement and very thankful that we didn't have to change their address or their street name in any way. And it seemed like everybody was happy with the decision that court was willing to make on that. So I'm glad it worked out for everybody.
Yeah, I agree, John. Thank you. Any other comments? Tom Bakken?
I don't have a comment, but I just want to ask a question on the procedure there. And I just was wanting to ask Jenny, do we need to approve the amendment and then the resolution as a separate item instead of all together?
You need to ask the parliamentarian, County Attorney Heyman.
She's trying to get her mute. There you go.
Mute to unmute. No, I think it's okay. I mean, you can do the amendment first, but you don't have the details of the amendment in there. So I think it's okay to do it as just the whole of what the resolution is, okay, with what you want to add in.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jenny. Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bakken?
Yes.
Master Combs? Master Berger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you all. Next is Resolution 2091, Baptist Health 340B Program Compliance, MOU. We have our President of Baptist Health Richmond, Greg Gerard, on with us. I appreciate your patience. You've been on with us the whole time. I'm kind of glad because I get you to attend a fiscal court meeting.
exactly. This is my first. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I
being on
appreciate
with
it.
us.
I appreciate it, Judge. And it's nice to, if you, Tom is my new neighbor. And let me tell you, if you need some landscaping, he is a master landscaper, let me tell you. And one of the hardest working people I sit there and just watch him work. So it's nice to have you in the neighborhood, Master Bike, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate your time this morning, and I won't take long, but what you have before you today is an MOU that we typically in the past have had it with the health department, and we renewed it annually. But the Baptist Health System this year decided they wanted to take another approach and do it with the counties that we're in. And instead of doing an annual agreement, it would just be in until either party gives notice. But basically what you have before you is as your hospital, we are allowed to participate in a program called the 340B program, and it allows us to purchase drugs at a discount. Okay, and hospitals that serve more than 11% of their patients are what we consider disproportionate. Those that have low income, uninsured, etc. Those that are greater than 11% qualify for 340B discounts. We currently serve just a little south of 25%. So just south of 25% of our patients are low income, maybe Medicaid, Medicare patients without a secondary insurance. And so it allows us to purchase drugs for these patients at a discount. The resolution before you today is because we're not a state or a federally owned facility, we have to have an MOU with a government entity. And so what you have before you today is just is our commitment to continue to serve the indigent and those low income patients. Give them discounts or free care as they qualify. And from your behalf, it is accepting our commitment, acknowledging that commitment as a county, and therefore allowing us to continue to participate in the 340B program. And just to kind of let you know, in our fiscal years from September through August time period, our last fiscal year, we provided about $2.2 million in uncompensated costs as a result of treating low income and those kind of patients. So allowing us to purchase drugs at a discount is a significant benefit for us as we continue to provide our healthcare services to our communities.
Thank you, Greg. I'm going to read the resolution really quick, and then we'll open it up for questions and comments after we get a motion in a second. A resolution to approve a memorandum of understanding by and between Madison County, Kentucky and Baptist Healthcare System, Inc., DBA Baptist Health Richmond. Whereas Madison County and Baptist Healthcare System, Inc., Baptist Health Richmond desire to enter into this memorandum of understanding for healthcare services provided by Baptist. And whereas Baptist agrees to continue its historic commitment to the provisions of medically necessary healthcare services to indigent, uninsured, and underinsured residents of county, and specifically to participate in Health Kentucky's low-income medical care programs. And whereas Baptist participates in the drug discount program established under Section 340B of the Public Health Services Act, and whereas in order to participate in the 340B program, Baptist must maintain with a unit of government pursuant to which Baptist commits to provide healthcare services to low-income individuals who are not entitled to Medicare or Medicaid benefits at no reimbursement or considerably less than full reimbursement from these patients. And whereas county agrees to accept such commitments on behalf of the citizens of Madison County, and whereas the term of this MOU shall continue until terminated by either party upon not less than 60 days prior written notice to the other. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve to enter into this memorandum of understanding and authorizes the judge executive to execute same on behalf of the county. Roger.
Make a motion to accept resolution 2091.
Thank you, Roger. Tom?
Second on resolution 2091, Judge.
I have a motion and a second. Thank you all very much. Do we have any questions or comments at this time? Tom?
Hey, Judge, I'd just like to say that we appreciate Baptist Health in our community and for them being willing to take on this program and to help those that are less fortunate that need that assistance. So we thank them very much for that.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Tom. Any other comments? John?
Judge, I just like echo Tom's compliment on Baptist Health. I think the county government, the fiscal court, is only a entity that the Baptist Health is working through, and it wouldn't cost the county any financial strain on us at all. And to help the needy with their health insurance and their health coverage through this program, I think it's a good compliment and for Baptist Health to continue to do this. And I appreciate their service in this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any other comments? All right, seeing none. Appreciate you being on, Greg. Clerk Barger, if you will, call the roll.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Berger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes. Ruthie, good morning.
Good morning. I apologize. I have the COVID brain. I was thinking of next Tuesday, and Robin just emailed me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I apologize so much.
No, no worries whatsoever. We already presented, and I had your sheet here.
Okay, thank you.
And so if you want to just to make sure that the minutes matches up, if that's
Yes.
okay with our counselor and our clerk, if you want to go ahead and read what your tax rates are going to be to make sure that I didn't mess it up, because I did it first.
Did you?
I never get a smile out of my counselor very much, but I did get one out of her then.
Oh.
But I did catch myself. I read it wrong. But if you want to reread it, then
Absolutely.
you can go ahead.
Yes, and again, please accept
Just
my
for the record.
apologies. Yeah,
Yeah, no
absolutely.
worries.
So the library board met last Wednesday on the 19th, and they approved the following rates for this year. It is 5.7 for real property, 7 cents for personal property, and that includes like the railroad and inventory in transit, watercraft, those, and then 3.5 for the motor vehicles. And so those are the rates that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I read.
Yeah. And so I'm welcome. I sent along an information sheet on some of the highlights from the last year. If you all had any questions, I'm glad to answer them. And I'm not sure what else I'm glad to give you a little update if you'd like, or if you guys are getting ready to wrap up the meeting, I don't want to prolong it for you.
No, we'll ask the members of the court if they have any questions for you. Masters, do y'all have any questions for Ruthie, which is our director of our Madison County Library? Tom?
I don't have a question, Judge, but I just want to thank her for sending the additional information along with the rates there, so we could get an update on it.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's been such a, as you all know, such a strange year, but we're all figuring it out one day at a time, and appreciate your all support and the community's support throughout this whole situation. I appreciate people's support while we were closed, and I appreciate people's support coming back to the library, and all of our services are resuming hopefully back to normal levels by later this fall. So I appreciate the community support and the court support.
Thank you, Ruthie. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for jumping on. Next, we have Resolution 2092. This is a fiscal year 2021 litter abatement grant funds. And I believe we have Tom Webb on with us this morning. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Judge. How are you?
Doing great. I appreciate you being on. If you want to read a resolution.
Yes, sir. Resolution 20-92, a resolution for application and administration of calendar year 2021 Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet Division of Waste Management, DWM, litter abatement grant funds. Whereas the Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet, Division of Waste Management, calendar year 2021 litter abatement grant allowed units of local government to apply for litter abatement grant funding to be used for direct expenses as defined in 401 KR 49080, Section 3, incurred during calendar year 2021 associated with anti-litter control programs. 2, for litter cleanup on public roads as provided in KRS 224.43-505. 3, to meet the requirements established in KRS 224.43-345. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky desires to make an application for calendar year 2021 DWM litter abatement grant funds, and whereas the County of Madison, Kentucky wishes to authorize the judge executive to make application for calendar year 2021 DWM litter abatement grant funds, and if the application is successful, to enter into an agreement with DWM to administer the calendar year 2021 litter abatement grant award, to execute any documents which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer the award, to act as the authorized correspondent for this award. And whereas the amount of funding available per county will be calculated in accordance with statutory requirements, and the amount of grant funding each county is eligible to receive will not be determined until after November 1st, 2020, when all applications are received by DWM. And whereas there is no local match required, and now therefore be it resolved this 25th day of August 2020 by Madison County, Kentucky, the judge executive is hereby authorized to execute and furnish all required documentation, including memorandum of agreements, as may be required for furtherance of the above referenced project, and to act as the authorized correspondent for said project.
Judge, you're muted.
Thank you, Counselor. Say it again. Do I have a motion and a second for Resolution 2092? Tom?
Judge Nick, a motion to approve Resolution 2092 for the litter abatement grant funds.
Thank you, Tom. John?
Judge, I'll second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2092. Do we have any discussion? John Tudor?
Judge, I got a question for you or Tom Webb. What was the funds that we received last year for that litter abatement fund?
Like how much money?
Yeah. How much did we receive?
I'm going to say it was around 60,000. I think that we get for the litter abatement program. I mean, it could be 65 or 68. I think in the last, is that close, Tom?
Last year we got 63,800.
63,000. Yeah, I think since we've all been here on court, it's ranged anywhere from 60 to 70,000. So
I'd just like to say this is a good program, and some people went through and picked up some of the roads in my neighborhood just last week, and it really it happens a couple times a year, and it really helps keep the trash and the litter off of our roads, especially before the mowing happens, because if you got trash laying out there and you go through with the mowers, it just spreads it everywhere and makes a mess. So if we can keep it picked up before we get our mowing done, it really helps the neighborhoods.
Yeah, I agree. And we have many great programs through our solid waste department. I mean, we have the litter abatement program. We have the loaner truck program. We have the large item pickup. I mean, we have dumpsters down here at our road department that people can utilize. So we've invested a lot in these programs, and so there's really no reason, our tire program, there's really no reason for anybody to ever throw trash out on our sides of our roads, because we have all these programs that don't cost you anything, that are free. Obviously, this litter abatement program, it actually pays, organizations to go out and pick up miles of roads. I think it's $100 a mile, I believe, is what you get paid to go out and pick up trash. So, Tom.
Hey, Judge, I just wanted to say that in our claims this time, there were several organizations that made claims to the litter abatement program, and it picked up miles of highway. And so that, that helps out our county and the beautification of our county. We certainly appreciate all that.
Thanks, Tom. Anybody else? Roger, are you trying to talk over Tom there?
Not me.
Oh, I thought you was trying to talk. I hear that dog barking. I thought you was trying to.
No, I started to ask him, we was tired of hearing him bark. He can shut up now.
Well, the trash man was running and that come right in line with what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions about Resolution 2092? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Biken?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes, thank you all. Next is Resolution 2093. This is I'm going to say Petco Animal Welfare Grant Fund. Tom Webb.
Yes, sir. Resolution 2093, a resolution for application and administration of Petco Animal Welfare Grant Funds. Whereas the Petco Foundation is currently accepting applications for their animal welfare grant program, and whereas funds for the Petco Foundation grant program are to be awarded on a competitive basis for life-saving efforts, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky, desires to make an application for Petco Foundation grant program funds, and whereas the County of Madison, Kentucky wishes to authorize the judge executive to make application for Petco Foundation grant program funds, and if the application is successful, to enter into an agreement with the Petco Foundation to administer this award, to execute any documents which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer this award, to act as the authorized correspondent for this award, and whereas the Petco Foundation will award up to $100,000 to applicants on a competitive basis, and whereas a local match is not required, and whereas Madison County Fiscal Court is requesting Petco Foundation grant funds in an amount which will be specified in the grant application currently being prepared for submittal, and now therefore be it resolved this 25th day of August 2020 by Madison County, Kentucky, the judge executive is hereby authorized to execute and furnish all required documentation, including memorandum of agreements as may be required for the furtherance of the above referenced project, and to act as authorized correspondent for said project.
Thank you, Tom. Do I have a motion and a second for Resolution 2093? John Tudor?
Make a motion to accept or adopt Resolution 2093.
Thank you, John. Roger?
I'll second that.
Do we have any more discussion? Tom Bakken.
I just had a question, Judge. I don't remember this grant from last year. Is this one that we've applied for in the past? Is this a new grant?
I don't remember it either. I'm thinking it's a new grant. Tom, do you know the answer to that?
Yes, sir. This is a new one for us.
Yeah.
Good. Well, we appreciate you finding that.
John Tudor?
Tom, are we requesting the entire 100,000 in this grant or just partial that?
It would be a partial. They'll basically award it based on the number of animals that you service or that you serve. So it would not be that entire amount, no.
So it's determined on the number of animals we handle out to animal shelter then? Is that correct?
Yes, that's my understanding on this particular grant.
Okay. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate your work.
Sure.
Thanks, John. Anybody else? Seeing none, Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor? Master Biken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Tom Webb, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next is Personnel in the Fire Department. We have our Chief Tim Gray on. Good morning, Chief.
Morning. We've got 5 different ones. The first one I'll start with will be a promotion to a new position. It'll be Alan Ethan Jones. He'll be moving from a firefighter 4 to a lieutenant's position from $9.50 an hour to $10.50 on 9/2 of 2020. The interview committee consisted of Madison County Road Administrator Scott Shepard, retired Madison County firefighter Donnie Whitecamp, and Madison County EMS Training and Education Coordinator Debbie Berry, and this was their recommendation.
Thank you, Chief. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the recommendation that our chief just presented to the court? John Tudor?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to adopt or promote Alan Jones from firefighter 4 to lieutenant for the salary from $9.50 to $10.50 per hour.
I have a second? Roger,
Second.
any further discussion? I
Judge,
do-
make sure the effective date's put in there.
Thank you, Counselor. So that will be, if it's okay, John and Roger, the effective date will be September the 2nd. You can add that to your motion. Yeah, I see you shaking your head, John.
Yes, I'll add the effective date, September the 2nd, 2020.
Thank you. I do want to make a comment. I appreciate the group that we're getting to interview. You know, I think it's awesome. Chief, if you don't mind, to thank Donnie. You know, Donnie's one of our retired firefighters, which is served our county for a long time, and then also thank our EMS team for participating and helping us out. So I think it's a great way to do interviews. So kudos to you. All right, we have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Berger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Chief, your next one.
All right, the next one will be a firefighter one, be a Jacob Chandler Thorpe. We did interviews. The interview committee consisted of Brandon French, Jeremiah Tate, and Herb Lovett. Those were three captains of the county fire department. His start date will be 9/9/2020. Salary will be at $7.50 an hour. That's pending a background check and a drug test. And also at this time, they're not required to have a CPAT till the state of Kentucky Fire Commission opens back up. And following their guidelines, then they'll have a certain amount of time to complete their CPAT. If they don't pass that at that time, we won't have them anymore because they'll have to meet that regulation.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chief. Do I have a motion and a second upon the recommendation of our fire chief for Jacob Chandler Tharp? Tom Bach.
Motion to approve Brandon Chitwood to firefighter one. That's a hire. I'm sorry, Judge, to hire at.
You're on the wrong one, Tom.
Hey, Tom, it's Jacob Chandler Tharp, I'm pretty sure.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, Jacob Tharp, I'm sorry. To firefighter one at beginning on 9/2 at $7.50 an hour. And that's beginning on 9/9/20.
Yeah, 9/9/20 at $7.50 an hour. That's right.
Yeah, firefighter one. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Tom. Do I have a second? John Tudor?
Judge, I'll second that motion.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
Judge, one other thing,
Yes.
he will be doing a 10-week training course. I forgot about that.
Okay. Yeah, that most of all of our new firefighters are that, right?
We'll have one that'll have a 2-week orientation, but the other three will all be 10-week.
Okay. Yep. Thank you. All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Berger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Your next one, Chief.
The next one will be Brandon Todd Chitwood. He'll be a firefighter one, full-time, starting at $7.50 an hour on 9/9/2020. Had the same committee for the interviews. He'll be a 10-week course. Have to do a background drug test and the CPAT when the Kentucky State Fire Commission opens that back up.
All right. Thank you, Chief. Roger.
Make a motion to hire Brandon Chitwood.
Awesome. Thank you, Roger. Do I have a second? John
I'll
Tudor.
second that motion, Judge. At the starting salary of $7.50 an hour, starting date 9/9/2020.
All right. Thank you all. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, Clerk Barger.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Berger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Next, the next one will be a Dylan Rogers. He'll come in as a firefighter one, $7.50 an hour on 9/9/2020, pending a background check drug test, Kentucky Park Commission CPAC guidelines, and he'll be also on a 10-week orientation training.
Thank you, Chief. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the hire of Dylan Rogers as a firefighter 1? Tom?
Try again, Judge. Motion to hire Dylan Rogers as firefighter 1 at $7.50 an hour on 9/9/20.
Thank you, Tom. Do I have a second? Roger?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Chief, last one, I think.
Yes, sir. Be William Tyler Murphy. He'll come in as a firefighter 2, starting at $8 an hour on 9/9/2020, pending a background check, drug test, also the Kentucky State Park Commission CPAC. And like I said, he'll do a 2-week orientation because he's already 400 hours certified.
Yep. Thank you, Chief. Did he serve with another fire department somewhere?
He worked for us for about 5.5 years.
Okay.
A year ago.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion and a second to hire William Tyler Murphy as a firefighter 2? Larry?
I'll make that motion, Judge.
Thank you, Larry. So that motion will be made for starting a salary at $8 an hour, starting on 9/9.
Yes, sir.
John?
I'll second that motion, Judge.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Hey, Judge, I have a question for Chief.
Yes.
Are these new hire replacements, or are we filling empty spots?
We're filling empty spots. We had one went to state police, one went to another fire department, one had a family ordeal and he moved back home out of state. Then had another one went back to school. So these are just filling voids that we had.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Good question, Tom. Anything else for Chief? All right. See you, Chief. Appreciate you. Next on court, you know what? I didn't. So I'm going to back up. I'm going to get in trouble here in a second. So on our first reading of our ordinance 2021 CARES budget amendment, if anybody would like to comment, since that is a first reading, if anybody would like to comment, you can make public comment. You can email us at comments@madisoncountyky.us. A copy of this ordinance will be available on our website at www.madisoncountyky.us under the Transparency tab. This is that budget amendment for that CARES Act money that we will receive through the CARES funding. So I'm sorry I didn't read that earlier. Next, the judge's report. I do want to make note of the census, the 2020 census. I know we talked about this a lot over the past year, I'm going to say. I know that COVID and some of the things going on in society today has gotten in the way of taking people's minds off of the census, but it is important for our community. It is coming to a close. If you haven't filled out your 2020 census form, please do so very soon and send it in. It really doesn't take but 5 to 10 minutes. There are field workers. I think Tom maybe spoke to the court the other day or told me that he had a field worker that actually knocked on his door at his new house. But they are going out knocking on doors trying to get people to fill out the census. So it really is important for not only just the county, but the city governments, our quasi governments, agencies. It really benefits our schools and our kids. I mean, this is for the next 10 years, so the next decade. So please encourage people to make sure that they've done the census and filled it out, sent it in. Do want to make some announcements on some things that have been canceled in the month of September. The Berea Spoon Bread Festival has been canceled. Kirksville Days, including the Country Ham Breakfast at the Masonic Lodge, has been canceled. The annual Siege at Boonesboro has been canceled, and the Richmond Native American Powwow has been canceled. Typically, the downtown Richmond has a clean sweep. This year it was supposed to be on Friday, September the 18th. It has also been canceled. We are heading into fall, and it's a perfect time to visit one of our county parks. Parks open around 8 a.m. and close at dusk. Our Battlefield Golf Course is also open and ready for your visit. There are a few restrictions there as far as following CDC guidelines, social distancing, and that kind of thing, but it doesn't mean that you can't play. It's still a good place to go and play. Madison County has several job openings right now. Please visit our website at madisoncountyky.us for the most up-to-date list of positions available within our Madison County government. Please continue to wear face coverings, face masks when you're in public. Continue the social distance if at all possible, and remember to wash your hands. You know, last week we did have our second death in Madison County. My thoughts, I know all of our thoughts and prayers go out to the friends and families, but it is a true reminder that this virus is still going on and still strong inside our community. And so please make sure that we're doing what we need to do to comply with the guidelines and just using common sense when we are around others. Madison County Courthouse and its related offices will be closed on September the 7th for the Labor Day holiday. Our offices will reopen on September the 8th at 8 a.m. Again, we will be closed on September 7th for the Labor Day holiday. Comments from magistrates. Tom?
Yeah, just a couple of updates, Judge, on some of our projects. They are working over on Arbuckle today, and will be going to Wheeler Branch when they finish with that. That project could take another week or even two for that matter. But anyway, when they finish with that, Wheeler Branch is next. For the residents that are over there in Hickory Hills, we will be doing the project over there later this fall. Materials have been ordered, so just be patient while we get those supplies in for that. Goggins Lane, Judge, they're supposed to be beginning work. So Mr. Willis has told me around 8 o'clock tonight for the crack sealant. And so they're going to work for 8 to 10 hour shifts during the night on that. So, you know, if you're a traveler or a third shifter or something like that, just be careful out there and give those guys plenty of space whenever you're going across on Goggins Lane. And they're going to seal it first, and then we'll do new striping over there as well. And we are having, I've noticed some of them, and Mr. Willis told me today that confirmed that in other parts, not just our district, but we're having a lot of problem with people taking the road signs again, the street name signs. And you know, we've talked about this before. It's around $200 to $225 to $250 a sign for us to have to go back and put up you know, new signs, and that's taxpayer money that we could be using for something else. And not to mention, you know, one of the worst parts about it is for first responders. You know, if they need to go to your grandma's house, and in some of our more remote locations, you get there and there's no sign there. You know, it takes some time, and minutes can cost lives. So we ask you just to please leave the road signs alone. I think it was scheduled for this week, Judge, that Brandon McIntosh is going to be doing some work over on the bridge, and he's not actually working on the bridge. He's working on the roadway where the guardrail was torn down on Mentalist at the CSX railroad crossing. So if you see the state crew over there, just try to give those guys plenty of room, because it might take them a while to do that, and they may have to use heavy equipment to get some area cleaned up over there. Last thing, Judge, I just want to talk about just a little bit, and I just want to just give a quick brief on this, is that, we're, for folks that live out in the county, in our subdivisions, different areas. We're very fortunate that some people have very good places where that they can shoot their firearms, but there's a lot of responsibility that goes with gun ownership, and we just ask everybody to think before you get your weapons out and start shooting. If you're on a farm, that's one thing, but even on farmland, you have backgrounds. A bullet, if you will, and I'll just give you an example, a .223 round, which is what M16s, AR-15s, there are other weapons that use those, but one of those rounds is capable of going up to 2 miles. And so, you may be shooting in a place that you think that's safe till it hits a rock and it ricochets, or there's other, things that can go along with that. But I've had a lot of calls over the last few days, and it was concerning some ordinances for the county restricting some of the shooting in subdivisions. And I just want to let people know that there's a KRS that governs that, and that basically is KRS 237.104. And you can go and take a look at that. It's for gun owner responsibility. It tells basically in that counties cannot put ordinances on or that restrict gun ownership, the right to shoot, bear arms, all those different things. But please go take a look at that for yourself. That's KRS 237.104. That's an issue that if you want something like that done, that has to be resolved with the state legislator. And so you can find yours online for that and make phone calls to those. That's all I have, Judge. Thank you.
No, it's not how you end every time.
Thank you, Judge. If you need to get a hold of me, you can reach me at 200-9765.
Thanks, Tom. Roger.
You gonna skip John?
Well,
I don't have a lot to say.
No, it is John. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We've been on Zoom too long. I was trying to count seats, but I messed up. Sorry, John. You are next. I apologize.
Okay, thank you, Judge. I will be glad when we get off Zoom and get back to regular court. But I just want to kind of continue on Tom's thought there. It's not my district, but I received several calls this past week. Actually, I got a call from the gentleman that was in the incident where bullets came into his house about 11, and one of them hit him in the leg, and he's having some problems with that. I know Sheriff Cole and Judge Jenny Heyman, or Counselor Jenny Heyman, are working on that situation and investigating that. But please be careful if I lost you there for a minute. Please be careful if you're going to be out shooting firearms. I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I own guns myself. But like Tom says, always be aware of your surroundings. Make sure you have a backstop behind where your bullet's going to go. And you can't recall a bullet once it comes out of a firearm. So we've got a lot of houses and a lot of residents in Madison County right now. If you're going to get out and shoot, just make sure your target, that's one of the guidelines in being safe with a gun, and treat every firearm as is loaded, and be safe if you're going to be out there shooting. That's all I got, Judge.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Roger?
Don't have much, Judge. Bogey Mill Bridge is back open, been open a few days. They'll still need to do some blacktopping later on, but you're able to cross it, and I know the people down there would be glad of that. If we could just get to work on Maple Grove Bridge down there, we'd be okay. That's the only other one in my district that's a problem right now. It's hindering a lot of people to have to go around. More traffic on that road than people realize. I know it's a small road, but it's heavily traveled. It's a good shortcut going across from Tate's Creek. So I wish we could get something going on that, but I know that's out of our control. That's state. I just want to thank all the county workers for their service that they give. A lot of times they do a lot of things that they're just not appreciated for in their everyday work. And I think about them all the time. That's all I got.
Thanks, Roger. Roger, I continue to advocate weekly about that Maple Grove Bridge. So we keep trying to get them to put it in the letting. So we're continuing to work on that and encourage them to do it. So, Larry, it's good to see you, buddy.
Good to be seen, Judge. I really don't have anything, on what Tom said. We just need to use good sense, and hopefully everybody will. A lot of times when something like this happens, it makes everybody think. So hopefully this is a learning situation for Madison County. And other than that, I don't have anything. I'm just glad to be here, Judge.
Glad to hear, buddy. Appreciate it. Counselor, do you have anything today to add? Kenny?
Yeah, the portal to request a mail-in absentee ballot for the general election coming up November 3rd opened yesterday. This is a pre-request, so the ballot's not even certified yet. The ballot won't be certified until September 8th. Once the ballot's certified, then we can get the ballots printed. We'll get them in. So what I'm saying is, just because you requested a ballot today doesn't mean we'll be mailing it out next week. We won't be mailing those ballots out till the mid to late September. But the portal is open from now, from yesterday until October 19th to request your absentee ballot, and that's at govoteky.com.
Thank you, Kenny. Sheriff, you got anything? Make sure I haven't left anybody out. All right. Comments from department heads. Does any of our department heads have anything to address the court with today? Tom Bakken.
Hey, Judge, I don't have a comment, but I do have a question to the clerk. Kenny, are your offices back open for full service now, or do you need appointments still to do register vehicles and things like that?
No, we've been back open going on 6 weeks.
Good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're back open and ready to roll.
And comments from the audience. We did have a comment. I think Mary McMahon asked a question about is the motor vehicle fee for the health department a new tax? And it is not a new tax. That is something that that's happened for, I don't know how many years, but it's not new. I know that. So hopefully, Mary, that answers your question there. Did we have any other comments from the audience? Or? All right, that was it. All right, I need a motion. Some feedback here. I need a motion to pay the claims and approve the transfers. Roger?
So moved.
Do I have a second? John?
Second that.
I have a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers. Any comments or questions? Tom Bakken.
Hey, Judge, I just want to say, after a quick span through that again this morning, and after Glenna gave us the account for that, I did see several items in there for the COVID, and I appreciate that, Glenna. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I missed it on the first overlook.
Thanks, Tom. Any other comments? Seeing none, call the roll, Clerk Barger.
Master Bakken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next meeting, September the 8th, 2020. Again, our next meeting is September the 8th, 2020, and it will be right back here on Zoom. I need a motion and a second to adjourn. John Tudor?
Move to adjourn.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Tom Bakken. Call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bakken?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Hey, I appreciate everybody. Thanks for everybody being on and attending.